Hey everybody, welcome to Kel's Kitchen. My name is Kelly Sims. I am with Pampered Chef, and it's the weekend, which is the best time to cook some home comfort food. Today's recipe is right in our book, the Season's Best Cookbook for this fall-winter season of 2020 and 2021. This cookbook is only $3. You want to have these in your kitchen. Brilliant, brilliant ideas. And that cover page is exactly the recipe we're making today, braised chicken. So I'm going to do this in stages and kind of start and stop this video so that you can see everything in action. We're going to be using bacon. That's a great way to start a recipe, right? Bacon, we have thyme, we've got fresh garlic, and leeks. If you're not familiar with leeks, leeks are from kind of like the onion family. In fact, they're layered very much like an onion. One thing you must do, when I usually slice mine in half and then kind of do half moon cuts, is you want to make sure that you rinse them thoroughly, because a lot of dirt and everything from the soil will get in between all those layers, okay? So I will be using our bowls here. These are very, very sturdy. I've had them forever. They will last forever in your kitchen. One of those essential things for your kitchen, okay? We're gonna use some chicken broth, or if you have vegetable broth, go for that. We're gonna make a roux with some white wine vinegar, some Dijon mustard to go with this. It's really gonna be fantastic, and of course you can't miss out on the lemon pepper spice that we'll be using from our pantry. Mashed potatoes. I am not slaving over a hot stove for over 2 dishes. I'm not making the chicken and doing the potatoes on the stove. In fact, I'll make mashed potatoes in the microwave so you can see how easy that is to do in our micro cookers. One of the things I wanted to point out is our amazing scissors. These come in the knife block set, and all of our forged cutlery that comes in that knife block set is a lifetime guarantee. The knives are phenomenal, and there'll be a workhorse in your house, to be honest. But let's really focus on this recipe. I actually used my scissors to cut up bacon. A lot of people don't think about that, but you certainly can. You can use it to snip and stem your herbs and things like that as well. So I also like to find a lot of different things to do with the tools. So on a weekend, a nice home comfort meal, we're gonna have braised chicken over mashed potatoes. And you know what? With our cold brew pitcher too, you know, you can make that some amazing, amazing follow-up desserts for the weekend. So this is gonna be a great meal, and we'll be back in just a second to show you how we get started. All right, so we're back, and I just wanted to show you this really quickly. I've got 4 strips of bacon in our beautiful enameled Dutch oven cast iron skillet. So because of the enamel, you can see this white area. It's really great because you can see what you're cooking, and the sear that you get on your food. Look at this. Look at the bacon. Look how crispy it is. That's exactly what I'm looking for today. So I'm going to take this out, and do you notice all the dark, what some people might consider, oh my gosh, she's burning her beautiful pan? I'm not actually. Don't worry, we're going to get all that up. Just like when you're cooking a steak or a roast, all this goodness on the bottom here is actually called fond, and it's full of flavor, and we are going to actually deglaze this later on in the process with some white wine to get some extra flavors in here. So after I take out this, I'm going to start searing my skin on, bone in chicken thighs. You could do this with some chicken legs as well, no problem. But what I want to get is I want to use this sizzling hot enameled cast iron for the chicken's skin. So watch here. And the other thing I like too about this pot is it's actually really beautiful. You put the lid on, it's got a nice space for your handle, for your hand, so your oven mitt and everything else will fit on there. And when you flip it over, see all these bumps? These are basting bumps. So all this collection of beautiful, scented yumminess, it's actually going to collect on the basting bumps, and it's going to rain back down on your food, creating quite the treat. So I've got my bacon set aside. I've got my chicken, and I've just sprinkled over, like I said before, our lemon pepper, and I'm going to grab my tongs. Camera guy's doing a good job. He's just not sure where I'm moving to. So looks like I can put a little more on that one, actually. You can put as much or as little on there. The recipe, of course, tells you how much to use, but I just kind of do whatever. Listen to this. Right? Delicious. these go for about 5 minutes and I'll come back before I flip them over. We'll be right back. Okay, so here we have the finished chicken. I just did them in batches. 5 minutes skin side down first. I flipped them over and did the underside for a minute. That means that we have this pot again with all this yumminess in the bottom. This is when we're going to use those leeks I talked about. This will give you a very soft onion flavor. And you can see my little half moons. See them? We're going to saute these for a minute and then we're going to add some garlic. And this will actually start to deglaze the pan, just the moisture from these alone. Okay? So let's talk about garlic for a minute. I'm going to grab my garlic press. And we've got several bulbs here. So when it all comes together, you're buying a bulb of garlic, and these are the individual cloves, okay? Our garlic press is honestly infamous, and I've had mine for 20 years. It allows you to cook with garlic and not touch it. Yeah, so you don't have to, you never use real garlic because you don't like this, have it on your fingers. Smelling like that, you don't have to anymore. First, I'm going to show you a way to do it without the garlic press in case you don't have yours yet. By all means, do go ahead and get that. Take the blunt side of your knife, smash it down. The peel will separate from the bulb itself, and you can just pinch out the actual garlic clove. Now, you don't want to waste, when you're chopping, any of the moisture in that garlic. So if you put some salt down on your stone or on your cutting board here, and I have our largest cutting board, which is nice for roasting things, you can actually just chop that right into the salt, and the salt's going to soak up some of that garlic essence and the garlic oil, so you won't miss any of it. That's the best way you can do it if you don't have the press. The press is going to really squeak out that garlic. So now this is our biggest knife. This is our chef's knife, and I always was afraid of it because I thought it was too big for my little hands. But when you get a blade that's this long, and ours are beautiful because the blade runs all the way through the knife, Paper Chef even reminds you to hold it up here for better control, but they're putting their little symbol right on it. So instead of holding it here, just like in sports where you need to choke up on the bat, you're going to choke up on the knife and actually hold the top of that blade, okay? So we can do this, and it doesn't have to be anything perfect. That's one thing I love about cooking. You can ad-lib. You can do things different ways. It says it cut one way, cut it a different way. Get a whole new look. I'm going to clean off my blade. Just rock back and forth. I love this knife. It's actually my new go-to knife. I used to use the utility knife a lot, which I still do, but this is my all-time chopping knife. All right, so I'm going to actually add this garlic right to the pot, and then I'll demonstrate the press. We're going to actually do 4 cloves of garlic, because why not? I like garlic, don't you? Okay, so the whole peel went in, right? I don't have to peel it like I did with the knife. Whole peel is going to go in. I'm going to take it, I'm going to show you with this, and then I'll do it over the pot. This plunger goes in, pushes it through, and all you're going to see come out is, I don't want to do too hard, is the actual garlic. And the peel's going to be left. Watch this. I'll take that garlic with me. I'll push it right into the bowl. Chop off that garlic. Bring it back. I can use the end of my knife just to show you that the peel is all that's left. All right, I'm going to add some more garlic in there, and I'm going to do that really quickly so that we can get going. I'm going to turn down my pot a little bit. I had it up higher, and you know, with it being cast iron, it's going to really retain your heat, right? So you do want to watch temperatures that you're using. Okay. And 2 more. Because garlic makes everything better. That's just the fact of life. Okay. Again, just a skin. Last one. Get my knife back. So I'm not touching it. My fingers don't have to smell like it. And all that's left again are the peels from the garlic. And none of it is in your food. Now quite quickly, because at this point you want to add a little bit of liquid. And since my broth is handy, I'm going to do that. Just a little bit, just to keep it moist in there. And then wine. So ladies, gentlemen, this is the best part of cooking. If you find a recipe with the wine, pour yourself a glass and cook with some of the rest. Or maybe cook with a little and then glass up the rest, right, for later. So we're going to take, and I'm actually, again, right in this cookbook, it's going to tell you what to do. So half a cup of white wine. That looks good to me. And I'm just going to let that work around the pan, grab up all that fond, and it's going to look and taste delicious. We'll be back in a little bit to show you the next step. All right, guys, so look at these leeks. Look how soft they've become, okay? That's what you want to stay away from. And I wanted to point out one thing. When you're cutting up your leeks, you only want to go so far up the stem because all this is woody and unedible, okay? So definitely keep the white. You can keep some of this light green, but then you're going to stop so that you don't get your too much the woodiness from the onion, okay? We've got a beautiful stock. You can see, look at the bottom now. All that yumminess has turned our sauce brown. All that fond has come up. It's been deglazed with the white wine. And for those of you that want to know which wine it was just a Sauvignon Blanc. Okay. Now this is where we're going to make a roux. For all my French friends, you can say that much better than I can. But here we go. Basically, a roux is just a fat and a flour. So we do have some of that bacon grease. We're going to add in some butter. About 3 tablespoons. Okay. I'm going to switch to a whisk. Okay. We just want to melt that down. Because what we're trying to do is we're going to put that flour in there, and the roux is going to actually thicken our sauce, our braising liquid, right? Which is what we're going to let our chicken slow cook in. And that's what braising is, slow cooking. So we've melted our butter. For some additional flavor, especially going with that nice lemon pepper rub that we used, we're going to put about a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. I'm going to use 2 hands. It looks like about a tablespoon to me. You can measure if you wish, especially if it's your first time. I like to measure, but this is a family favorite. And again, like I say, this is definitely a beautiful weekend cooking, guests coming over, that kind of thing. All right. If you don't have the adjustable measuring spoon set in your collection, it's definitely something you want to have. The teaspoon goes from 1/8 to a teaspoon, and this tablespoon goes from a teaspoon to a tablespoon. So 2 spoons, all you're going to need. We're going to put about 2 tablespoons of this flour in here. Again, I'm not exactly precise, but there we go. We're going to whisk that up, and that's going to become the thickening agent for our broth. Okay, so I measured out our broth. Our easy measuring cups also come in a set. I always like the sets, guys, because you're going to save money, right? You get to add essential tools to your kitchen to make your life easier, and then you're going to save a few bucks. Who doesn't like to save a few bucks? I know I do. So all I'm doing is I'm really just taking my time. I'm whisking in little bits of the broth at a time just to really whisk that flour and let that become a beautiful liquid. So I'm going to have camera guy come back over and you're going to see. I want you to be able to see this so you can replicate it. All right, see that thickness? That's the flour going. I know there's a bunch of steam, but I'm trying to show you how thick that is. Right? Okay, we're going to add a little bit more now, and it will thicken up too. We're just going to keep working it. And the whisk is acting as a deglazer as well. It's going to make sure we get up all that goodness. And don't worry, this pot, because it's enameled cast iron, it's going to go in your dishwasher for cleaning. Make your life simple. All right, I'm going to be able to get the rest of that in there. Really incorporate all that liquid. And then I can put back in my bacon. Don't forget, we started with bacon. All right, all that bacon's back. Oh, I wonder if you'd be allowed just to eat it like that. It does look so good. It smells heavenly. The next person who invites smell-o-vision or invents it is going to make a fortune. I would love for you guys to be here in my kitchen. We're gonna put that chicken back in there, and it's just gonna slow cook in here for about a half an hour. In the meantime, I'll come back and show you what we're gonna do to get those potatoes on so that they're ready at the same time. Oh, too good. And I'm gonna get this one in there as well. All right. Remember, the bumps on the lid are gonna rain all that yummy herbed moisture that's coming up, and it's gonna rain it right back down on that lid. I'm gonna put some herb on the top. Now, if you want to stem your thyme, you can take your fingers down the stem and just hold that stem and lightly, gently pull off your thyme, okay? For a dish like that, or if you're making something more specific like pasta where you need that taken off, I'm actually in this pot, I'm just going to lay my thyme in there. It's still going to work the same way, especially when it rains back down from the lid. A few minutes before the chicken is done, we're going to put some spinach on top to wilt on it as well, okay? So we'll be back to show you the potatoes, and we're gonna end up plating this together, okay? We'll be back. All right, guys, so I've had time while the chicken is slow cooking, and braising is that technique again, to clean up a little bit, and we've got the potatoes peeled and cut up, so they're, you know, fair, decent size, something you would do on your stovetop. But again, I'm a little lazy after working on that chicken. I'm gonna do these in the microwave. So I've just covered them with water in our 3-quart micro cooker. Do that up, and I'm gonna put them in there for 12 minutes and see how that does. Your timing is gonna change based on your microwave's wattage, as well as how full your container is, okay? But I will definitely show you what to do with these. At the end, we'll mash them up together. Our new product that I thought was actually really inventive is our potato masher. Did you see that? So many of you would have this kind of a masher. It's in your drawer, you're opening and closing your drawer, and it's just, it gets stuck, right? You're fighting with the drawer. I love that somebody came up with a way to let that go and fold flat. And it's very, very sturdy. That's what I was really shocked at how strong it was while it was in full extension mode. So we'll use that later. If you want to fancy up your cheese with this recipe, because it is a kind of fancy looking dish, put some Boursin cheese in here. Excellent, okay? And let's take a peek at the chicken while it's still cooking. Come on over. Let's take a look. I might use some of that braising with it. Oh, look at this, guys. Isn't that gorgeous? Like, I don't even have to really do anything with the liquid, but since I've opened it, I'm just gonna pour some on top of this chicken. My thyme, move that around. All right, guys, we're gonna be back for final steps soon. All right, guys, we're almost there. I've just grabbed some spinach at the store as well, and that's gonna go to top off the chicken that we have. I'm just gonna lay it on top for now and kind of just let the heat that's in there take care of wilting some of that. We could stir it into the broth in a little bit if we want to kind of speed things along a little bit. But again, the cast iron will give you that sear that you saw. So it's amazing, amazing thing for slow roasting. Baking bread, that's another thing that people use cast iron for a lot. And because this one is enameled, you can throw it in the dishwasher, which is a bonus. So our potatoes are finished. They took a little longer because I have more potatoes in here than normal. Like I said, so you'll want to adjust that based on, you'll get used to it, but you'll just based on how much you have in there and how much liquid you've put in. I'm going to put in some butter and some milk, of course. Again, if you're not watching your calorie intake or anything, feel free to put cream in there, put some Boursin cheese in there. And another tip to keep it hot would be to warm up your milk before you put it in there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mash that up. So this video will be on my YouTube channel, and I really hope that you enjoy the video. If you have, go ahead and hit that like button at the bottom. Go ahead and subscribe to see future videos. And if you don't mind, I appreciate it every time somebody shares my link as well. All right, so there's that potato masher that folded flat. We're gonna be able to plate this up now. I decided to grab some green onions and cut them up as well. I always like topping that because we eat with our eyes, not just with our taste buds. So making things pretty is also nice. One of the tricks I was just going to mention is when you get your green onions, we have an herb keeper you can put them in. If you don't have the herb keeper, just put them in a glass of water. They'll continue to grow and you'll actually get more greens out of them because they go so bad in the fridge, I find, pretty quick. All right, so let's plate one up here. We've got mashed potatoes. I'm going to put that right in the center. I don't know about you guys. Any potato lovers? I know in my house they are. So I have to put a fair amount there. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and grab some of that chicken. Let's go take a look. You can come with me. All right, get one of my oven mitts, take off that basting lid, and I'm able just to go ahead and look at, it's already wilted. That didn't take long at all, did it? We're going to make sure not to serve the thyme piece stems that are in there. They're easy to pick out, so that's what's great about doing that. Look at the broth, and it's nice and it's thick. All right, I'm going to grab my tongs again and plate this up. So we've got our dish, that beautiful chicken that we seared early on, and the leg is nice to put here, kind of against the thigh. If you want to do multiple, look at how light and how soft that chicken is. You can see it just as I pick it up. I'm going to grab that stem, a couple of the little spinach pieces there. All right, and then we'll finish off back at the counter. I am going to go ahead and grab some of that broth, because I mean, what's better than braising liquid itself, right? You want that on for your potatoes. And as you would see a million TV chefs do, you're going to wipe the rim of your bowl. This is so good, guys. I mean, your guests would think, your family, your guests are going to think that you slaved all day over this. And really, you're easily done in an hour. Okay? If you want to serve it right when you serve it, throw a little extra thyme on there. Your glass of wine, one for you, one for me. And that's it. That is braising chicken. Again, braising is just slow cooking. We made a roux to thicken that sauce, which was just a fat and a liquid, which in this case was bacon fat, butter, and the flour. And we have a delicious dish on the table, folks. Talk to you soon.